The North Pole. Snow fell softly. It was Christmas Eve, the busiest day of the year. At the heart of the North Pole was Santa's workshop, a place of wonder. Toys were everywhere. Elves worked tirelessly. Their hammers rang out. The air was filled with the scent of gingerbread and pine needles. Inside, Santa Claus, jolly and round, checked his list.
Ho ho ho, almost ready. Elves, we're on schedule. Keep up the good work.
The elves, energized by Santa's words, worked with renewed vigor. Their tiny hands moved with amazing speed and precision. They were a well-oiled machine, fueled by Christmas spirit. Far away, hidden in the shadows of a glacier, lurked a figure. He was bundled in a thick fur coat. A sinister grin spread across his face. This was Ebenezer. He had a plan. A wicked plan. Ebenezer hated Christmas. The joy, the carols, the lights. This year he would have his revenge. He would steal Christmas.
Soon, Santa. Soon it will be mine.
He patted his gift-stealing machine with wicked glee. Back at the workshop, no one suspected a thing. The elves sang Christmas carols as they worked. Santa checked his sleigh one last time. He made sure every gift was loaded. He patted his reindeer. They snorted, eager to be off.
Ready when you are, Santa.
But in the distance, hidden by the swirling snow, Ebenezer waited. Christmas was about to take a dark turn. Ebenezer wasn't always filled with bitterness. Once he believed in the magic of Christmas. He even tried to spread the joy in his own way. He baked gingerbread cookies for the reindeer. He tried to knit a scarf, although his clumsy fingers were better suited to wielding a hammer. He even attempted to hum along to a carol or two. But something changed. He felt unseen, unappreciated. His gingerbread was too tough, they said. His scarf was more whole than wool. And his humming? Well, it sounded like a walrus with a head cold. He retreated into the shadows, nursing his wounded pride. Years turned into decades. Ebenezer's heart hardened like a lump of coal forgotten in the back of a stocking. Ebenezer's gift-stealing machine was a testament to his bitterness. Cobbled together from scrap metal, discarded toys, and a surprising amount of duct tape, it hummed with a malevolent energy.
The machine was more than just a tool. It was an extension of my resentment.
He imagined the chaos it would unleash, the tears it would bring to children's eyes, and a twisted smile spread across his face. He had studied Santa's operation with the meticulousness of a seasoned spy.
My plan was audacious. Some might even say insane, but I reveled in the audacity. I was going to strike at the heart of Christmas, and the world would know my name. I would show them all. I would show them that Christmas was nothing but a lie.
No walls surrounded the workshop. No guards patrolled the perimeter. Years of smooth sailing had lulled them into a false sense of security. Ebenezer had discovered a crucial flaw in Santa's Operation Complacency.
I knew exactly when and where to strike, how to exploit the gaps in their defenses. I had spent weeks observing the routines, noting the delivery schedules, the reindeer flight paths.
He envisioned the machine, his creation, his instrument of chaos, sucking up presents with a satisfying.
Yes, it would be a glorious spectacle, a vindication of my years of bitterness.
He chuckled to himself, a dry, rasping sound that echoed through the icy wasteland. The sky shimmered with the ethereal glow of the northern lights, an ironic backdrop to Ebenezer's dark intentions. He checked his contraption one last time, tightening a loose wire, adjusting a crooked antenna. The machine hummed ominously, a hungry beast awaiting its prey. A shiver of anticipation, laced with a thrill of fear, ran down his spine. This was it.
Tonight I would become a legend, a cautionary tale whispered by elves around crackling fires. I, Ebenezer, the Grinch who stole Christmas.
He glanced at his pocket watch. Midnight was fast approaching, the witching hour, the perfect time for his wicked scheme.
I would teach them all a lesson they wouldn't soon forget.
Taking a deep breath, Ebenezer flipped the switch. Ebenezer watched from his hiding spot. The gift-stealing machine whirred. Its green beam sliced through the night. It hit the workshop, silent and deadly. Ebenezer grinned. Inside, the elves were none the wiser. They hummed carols, their tiny hammers pounding rhythmically. Santa was checking his list, his spectacles perched on his nose. The workshop buzzed with Christmas cheer. The first sign of trouble was a soft whoosh, then another, and another. Presents began disappearing, right before the elves' eyes. 1 minute, a teddy bear sat on the workbench. The next, it was gone, vanished. Confusion rippled through the workshop. Elves stopped working, their eyes wide with disbelief. Whispers turned into shouts.
"Where'd it go?"
cried an elf, holding up a half-finished toy soldier. Panic turned into chaos. Presents vanished faster and faster. Dolls, toy trucks, board games, all gone in the blink of an eye. The elves ran around like snowflakes in a blizzard, their little faces pale with fear. Santa tried to maintain order, but the situation spiraled out of control.
Find out what's happening, and someone check on the reindeer.
He bellowed, his booming voice barely audible over the din. Outside, Ebenezer watched with wicked glee. His plan was working. Amidst the chaos, a young elf named Jingle noticed something strange. A faint green glow emanated from the open window. He squinted, his sharp elf eyes piercing the darkness. He saw it, a strange contraption, humming and whirring just beyond the workshop, and holding the controls a shadowy figure with a cruel smile. Jingle gasped. He knew who it was. Ebenezer. Santa Claus, his jolly demeanor replaced by a thoughtful frown, called for an emergency meeting. The elves, their faces still etched with bewilderment and fear, gathered around their beloved leader.
All right, elves. Something's amiss in our winter wonderland. Presents are vanishing faster than gingerbread cookies at a reindeer picnic. We need a plan, and we need it faster than Rudolph's nose on Christmas Eve.
But who would do such a thing, and why?
Santa, his brow furrowed in thought, stroked his white beard. He had a sinking feeling he knew exactly who was behind this mischief. It was time to confront an old adversary. Just as Santa was about to share his suspicions, a small, breathless voice cut through the tense silence. It was Jingle, his pointed hat askew, his cheeks flushed from running. He had vital information, and he knew it.
"Santa, Santa!"
he exclaimed, pushing his way through the crowd of elves, his eyes wide with urgency.
"I saw him. I saw who's taking the presents."
A hush fell over the workshop as all eyes turned to the young elf.
"It's Ebenezer. He has a giant, strange machine, and it's sucking up all the presents. I saw it with my own eyes."
Murmurs of disbelief and fear rippled through the elves.
Jingle, my boy, you've done a fine job.
Santa said, clapping the young elf on the shoulder with a reassuring smile.
Now we need a plan, and fast. Ebenezer may have gotten the jump on us, but we'll show him that Christmas spirit can't be stolen so easily.
A glimmer of hope sparked in the eyes of the elves. Santa's confidence was infectious, and his words ignited a fire in their hearts. They would not let Ebenezer or anyone else ruin Christmas.
We need a distraction, something big, something bold, something that screams Christmas louder than a choir of carol-singing reindeer.
The elves, their natural ingenuity and love for all things festive kicking into high gear, erupted in a flurry of ideas. As the elves, energized by a renewed sense of purpose, set about their tasks, a sense of anticipation settled over the workshop. The air crackled with a mixture of nervous energy and unwavering determination. This was it, the moment of truth.
Ebenezer, oblivious to the counter-offensive brewing within the workshop, surveyed his handiwork with a smug grin. The gift-stealing machine, its belly full of stolen joy, hummed contentedly. its green beam still flickering menacingly towards Santa's domain. He had almost done it. Christmas, that gaudy, saccharine spectacle, was on the verge of collapse, and he, Ebenezer, was the architect of its downfall.
Little did he know, however, that Santa and his elves had a surprise in store for him. Santa, his eyes twinkling with a mischievous glint, raised his hand to silence the flurry of activity in the workshop. The elves, their faces a mix of apprehension and excitement, gathered around him.
All right, my little helpers, it's time to show Ebenezer that Christmas cheer is a force to be reckoned with. Operation Candy Cane Chaos is a go.
The elves, armed with their sugary weapons, took their positions. Tonight, they would fight for the heart of Christmas.
Outside, Ebenezer, oblivious to the storm brewing within the workshop, continued to revel in his perceived victory.
The doors of the workshop burst open, bathing the snowy landscape in a warm, inviting glow. Ebenezer, startled by the sudden illumination, turned, his eyes widening in disbelief at the sight that greeted him. A wave of sugary sweetness washed over him.
Fire at will!
Elves, their faces alight with determination, poured out of the workshop, armed with giant candy canes, gingerbread men launchers, and a seemingly endless supply of gumdrop grenades. The air filled with the scent of peppermint, cinnamon, and a hint of mischief. A barrage of gumdrops, propelled by a secret recipe of elf magic and Christmas cheer, rained down on Ebenezer and his contraption. Ebenezer, momentarily stunned by the sheer audacity of the assault, sputtered and choked as a rogue gumdrop lodged itself in his beard.
This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Where was the fear, the despair, the bitter resignation I had envisioned?
Instead, he was met with a symphony of sweetness, a cacophony of Christmas cheer that threatened to overwhelm his carefully constructed wall of bitterness. He had underestimated the power of Christmas, the sheer tenacity of those who believed in its magic. The attack was relentless. Gingerbread men, their icing smiles twisted into expressions of mock ferocity, bombarded Ebenezer's machine, their candy-coated bodies exploding on impact in a shower of sugary shrapnel. Candy canes, transformed into miniature battering rams, pummeled the contraption's delicate wiring.
What is this?
Ebenezer, his initial shock giving way to a growing sense of panic, fumbled with the controls. The machine sputtered, its green beam flickering erratically as the elves' sugary assault took its toll. He had never seen such determination, such unyielding cheer, even in the face of what he thought was certain defeat. He had expected surrender, resignation, maybe even a few tears. Instead, he was met with laughter, singing, and the unshakable belief that Christmas, true Christmas, couldn't be stolen. Not by him, not by anyone. The sight of the elves, their faces flushed with exertion and merriment, their tiny hands wielding candy weapons with surprising ferocity, sparked something unexpected within Ebenezer's shrunken heart. A flicker of warmth, a distant echo of a long-forgotten joy.
Could it be? Was it possible that I had been wrong all these years? Was Christmas not about bitterness and disappointment, but about something more, something magical?
The final blow came in the form of a giant gingerbread Santa, launched from a catapult cobbled together from spare sleigh parts. It soared through the air, trailing icing and sprinkles before crashing into the gift-stealing machine. The machine groaned, its green beam shrinking to a faint flicker before disappearing. Presents tumbled out in a cascade of brightly wrapped joy. The elves erupted in a cheer that echoed across the snowy expanse. Ebenezer watched in stunned silence as his plan crumbled around him.
What have I done?
As the dust settled, Ebenezer found himself surrounded by smiling faces. Santa Claus clapped Ebenezer on the shoulder, his eyes twinkling with understanding.
Well, Ebenezer, it seems you've learned a valuable lesson tonight. Christmas isn't about taking, it's about giving. It's about spreading joy, not stealing it.
Ebenezer felt a single tear roll down his cheek. It froze on his beard, a tiny testament to the thaw that had begun to melt his icy heart. Ebenezer, touched by the elves' generosity and Santa's unwavering belief in the spirit of Christmas, felt a change within him. The icy grip on his heart loosened. He saw the joy in their eyes, the genuine desire to share the magic of the season. He spent the rest of that night helping the elves reload the sleigh. His clumsy fingers struggled with the delicate task of tying ribbons. But with each gift he touched, a flicker of warmth spread through him.
I never knew it could feel like this.
As dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, and the reindeer soared into the sky, their hooves kicking up a trail of sparkling snow, Ebenezer stood beside Santa, a newfound sense of peace washing over him. He finally understood. Christmas wasn't about the presents or the decorations. It was about kindness, compassion, and the spirit of giving.